NXT promised to bring the heat to summer with NXT Heatwave emanating from the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Trick Williams put his NXT championship on the line against All Ego Ethan Page, Shawn Spears, and Javon Evans, who would emerge with NXT's top prize. Roxanne Perez faced a motivated Lola Vice with the NXT Women's Championship on the line. Could she defeat her toughest challenge yet? Wes Lee put everything on the line to challenge Obafemi. Would he regain his North American Championship? Or would he never get another shot at the title during Femi's reign of terror? Kalani Jordan wanted to face the best, and she found a worthy challenger in Sol Ruca. Could the Women's North American Champion retain her gold again? Axiom needed Nathan Frazier focused for their latest NXT Tag Team Championship defense. Could they defeat Chase U, led by Andre Chase and Duke Hudson? This would be a special night for the Gold Brand talent, battling in front of a crowd of 10,000 plus excited Canadians with so much gold on the line. Hey there, welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and the Phenom, Michael Bullock. Of course, Mr. Bullock and I, fresh off another one of our legendary Raw chats as always. And, yes, sir. We will get to Monday Night Raw, and we will most certainly get to that ending, to say the very least. But before that, we got NXT Heatwave. We had a pre-show match. It was JC Jane and Jasmine Nix squaring off against the strange bedfellow tag team of Canadian girls, Carmen Petrovic and Ariana Grace. Carmen Petrovic and Ariana Grace won the match in 7 minutes and 40 seconds. So we're just going to bypass that. So let's get to the main card. First up, the NXT North American Championship on the line. The champion, Obafemi, defending against Wes Lee. Stipulation simple. If Wes Lee did not regain the title, he would no longer be able to challenge for the North American title as long as Obafemi is the title holder. Winner of the match in 16 minutes and 19 seconds, and still the NXT North American champion, it is Obafemi. Wes Lee can no longer challenge for the title, and he is going to address his future tomorrow night on NXT. Going in, this was the most exciting match on the card due to the personal stakes. Wes Lee sold how much this title meant to him, and he was likely never going to hold it again if he lost to the big man. The action absolutely delivered. It was not the cleanest battle down the stretch, but that only added to the sense of desperation that was clear down the stretch. These two emptied their reverses to try and win. Wes Lee was the clearest threat to Obafemi on the current roster. It will take a while to build someone else that can legitimately dethrone the big man. It was the right move, though, to keep the focus on Femi, who has much to still learn in NXT while also showing himself to be one of the best on the roster. NXT would benefit from pushing Wes Lee forward into the main event scene. He and Trick Williams have some history left to explore. So, not much more to say on this. 4.25 stars, teetering on 4.5. Excellent jump off to NXT Heatwave, no doubt about it. So, not much more here. So, good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Obafemi successfully defends the North American Championship against Wes Lee. 16 minutes, 19 seconds. Wes Lee, he lost. He no longer can challenge for the North American title as long as Femi has it. And tomorrow night, Wes Lee's going to address his future.
Yeah, there's really a lot that needs to be talked about with this one. But like you said, 4 stars is my rating for the match because it was a really good battle. It was a very solid fight. And at the end of the day, the right man won. Like you said, Anthony. Oba is without a doubt the best thing in NXT today. He's one of the big guys. I've been a big fan of him for a little while now, and you've kind of known that for a little bit. And he just brings to the table is just that kind of action, that kind of battle, that kind of fight. And it's really, really, really good. So I love what Obafemi has brought. And for Wes, yeah, the heartbreak is that, he had an opportunity. This was his last chance at the North American title. But the thing is that he goes out in a blaze of glory. He put everything on the line. He made everything look believable. He was incredible with the action. Now the question becomes is what's next for him? How do you follow it with, what's the future for him? I think that's gonna be the $1 million question. I honestly don't know how what that answer is gonna be, but for everything that he did, for all of the work that he put through, dude, I got a lot of respect and a lot of admiration for what was done. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, what can you say? I mean, Obafemi's been a dominant NXT North American champion. I mean, he has literally turned back the challenge of so many challengers. I mean, Wes Lee was the best that they could offer, and yet it just wasn't enough. But like you said, guys, this to me was the right move to keep the title on Obafemi, because right now he's just dominant, and now's not the time to break that momentum. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we're gonna find out what the future holds for Wes Lee come tomorrow night on NXT. So great start to this to NXT Heatwave. So 4.25 stars. I'm with you on that. So let's move on to the next match for you.
And that next match was we go from the men's North American Championship to the women's North American Championship. Champion Kalani Jordan defending the title against Sol Ruca. Winner of the match, 11 minutes and 37 seconds. And still the NXT Women's North American Champion, Kalani Jordan. MF, you started off.
This was pleasantly surprising and very good to watch. I think when we started watching this, I don't think none of us would have thought that this was going to be the way that it was going to play out, but it did. And at the end of the day, I honestly and truthfully, I feel like the right person won. Kalani just started the reign as the champion. She deserves the opportunity to basically get the belt and everything else. But Sol Ruca, you could see her body of work with everything she brought to the table. She's so good and so versatile in the ring that, there was that one move that was absolutely just mind-boggling, which was, that 450 clothesline. And then, if you really want to see how great these two women are, they did an homage to something that was done in the days of New Japan Pro Wrestling. There was a moment when they did a sequence that was between Ricochet and Will Ospreay, and they did flips, and and neither woman landed a maneuver. There was a hurricanrana. She kicked out of that. If you look at it, and I even sent the video to Anthony and Michael Bullock earlier today, it was eerily similar to that sequence that these two to the two other women that did it, to how the guys did it. And it was crisp, it was clean, it was like my jaw hit the floor. I was like, oh my God. Take a bow, you two, because that was freaking awesome what I saw. I got, we already know how great Sol Ruca is. I've been very high on her. After what I saw on Sunday night, I got mad respect for Kalani Jordan. My respect for her went tenfold with Kalani. I love this girl now. This girl caught my eye, and I'm like, God damn. If she can tap into that and keep that momentum going, I'm telling you guys, we're looking at a future megastar in WWE. I mean, she with a little more seasoning, with more, good competition to elevate her game like this, there's no doubt in my mind Kalani could become that girl. She could become the next big star in NXT. This was easily 3 3/4 of a star. I thought they did an amazing job with this match. And Michael Bullock, it is yours.
Yeah, and remember when that what was that, the ladder match for the inaugural NXT Women's North American Championship, we all went against Kalani Jordan because we all said she's too young, it's too soon for her. But she's really proving everybody wrong. I mean, she continues to get better time after time, and this match with her and Sol Ruka was definitely, I mean, you gotta say that up to this point, the biggest win since having to defend that title. To defeat someone like Sol Ruka, who was so athletic, that's gotta be a major boost to her. And I think, to me, I think Kalani Jordan's only gonna get better as time goes on. I mean, remember, Fletch, you were the one that originally said that, oh, Kalani Jordan's too young. It's too soon for her to win this title. And now that they put the title on her, it seems like she's just gotten better and better each time. So major props to her. So
And what also has helped her out, and I'm just going to be very brief about this because we got a lot to talk about tonight, it's also the level of talent that they've been putting her against. That has also elevated Kalani in such leaps and bounds.
she's risen to the occasion. And what did you give it, Fletch?
3 3/4 of a star, close to 4.
Yeah, I'm with you. 3 3/4. I mean, it was close to 4. I'll say if it was like another maybe 5 minutes or so, I would have given it 4. But 3 3/4 is nothing to sniff at here. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
Two of the most athletic women in all of WWE, including the main roster, went to war and knew exactly what pace to take. This was pedal to the metal, lucha libre style action that is only possible with serious trust between the competitors. This was the best match of both women's careers to date, aided by a hot crowd, but further sold by strong pacing that highlighted the strengths of champion and challenger. This is a matchup that WWE should revisit in the future, as these two will only get better with time. More experience would iron out the rougher edges and allow them to tell a more complete story in the ring. Still, it's hard to get much better than this. Hopefully, the next challengers for the Women's North American Championship can find a way to live up. Kalani Jordan is already making the most of her time with the championship and should reign for much of the rest of 2024. Sol Ruka could jump to the NXT Women's Championship scene without anyone blinking an eye. 3 3/4, teetering on 4. I 100% agree with the rating. So with that, we move on. NXT Tag Team Championship on the line. The champions, Nathan Frazier and Axiom, squaring off against Andre Chase and Duke Hudson of Chase University. They had Riley Osborne and Thea Hale in their corner. Winners of the match in 13 minutes and 50 seconds. And still, the NXT Tag Team Champions, Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Michael Bullock, despite the little bit of tension between Frazier and Axiom, they still found a way to get it done, and they're still the NXT Tag Team Champions. They win it in 13:50.
3.5 stars for me. And going into this, part of me wanted to say that Duke Hudson and Andre Chase were going to become the new champions because of the dissension that's going on with Axiom and Nathan Frazier. But at the end, they somehow put their differences aside, and they are still the champs. So, yeah, nothing more for me to say. It's yours. So I guess you can say, Florio, as I pass it on to you, I guess all's good for Axiom and Nathan Frazier.
For now. Key words, for now. Nathan Frazier and Axiom were not on their A game, but Chase U still could not stop their incredible momentum. While this match could have used a clearer build, these two tag teams were never going to disappoint. That would be an understatement on a match that built to a furious home stretch that had the crowd rocking more than anything so far. This was a match that solidified Nathan Frazier and Axiom as one of the best tag teams in WWE today, maybe even the best period. Chase U, though, proved themselves as well, showing why they developed such an easy connection with NXT fans. This could have gone either way, but the Supersonic duo keeps the gold for a little while longer. Whenever the champions do drop the gold, though, both Nathan Frazier and Axiom are more than ready for a main roster run. 3.5, teetering on 3 3/4 of a star for this one. So not much more to say. MF, I mean, when we talked about this, when we previewed this the other night, we thought that Andre Chase and Duke Hudson were gonna steal the titles because of the growing tension and dissension with the issues with Frazier and Axiom. But no, champions stay the champions. They found a way to get it done somehow, some way.
Yeah, no, man, and that was shocking and then some, because what was the thing that we were saying? Can they coexist? You noticed that Nathan Frazier's attitude was a little more different. It was that they were not loyal. That it doesn't look like they're on the same page. That they're on the same wavelength, whatever you want to call it. And then all of a sudden, here they are talking about them winning the title, putting the title, and the mere fact that Nathan Frazier, if you remember, Anthony, or I don't know if you guys, or I think we didn't really incorporate it early, but it was mentioned during the telecast that Nathan Frazier was actually 2 hours late getting into the building. So, I mean, Axiom was there, ready to go, geared up, and Nathan Frazier was like, what the hell? So he shows up 2 hours late, and you're thinking, what the bleep? So, yeah, at the end of the day, it was a sad outcome, and it was, they were able to navigate it. But now, if you're Chase University, there was even questions being thrown after the match was over. Was it the right thing to keep Ridge Holland out? Obviously, maybe you could even say that if Ridge Holland is out there, maybe there's there might have been a scenario where we might have had new tag team champions. But because he didn't, he messed up. So Andre Chase is going to have to take a look at himself, because, yes, he was doing it for the betterment of the group. He thought that it was the right thing to do to punish Ridge, but sometimes with titles on the line, maybe you needed it to take that little extra step. Ridge might have been a factor who could have helped you get the titles. But don't get me wrong, this was an amazing tag team title fight, and in my honest opinion, the fight of the night. I disagree with both your ratings, gentlemen. I'm giving this a solid 4 stars for this matchup. I was thoroughly impressed with the championship fight. Florio, is back to you.
All right. NXT Women's Championship on the line. The champion, Roxanne Perez, defending against Lola Vice. Winner of the match in 12 minutes and 49 seconds. And still the NXT Women's Champion. It is Roxanne Perez. Lola Vice had all the advantages early in this bout, but an injury to her right arm became a target for the Prodigy to exploit. Perez took advantage and hit 5 pop rocks in short succession to seal the win. On another night for NXT, this would have been the best match. However, after 3 barn burners, this was only good in comparison. That should not take away from what was a really well-structured and executed battle. The consistent story sold how one bad hit became Perez's target and gave the Prodigy her avenue to success. Vice felt more like a babyface than she ever has before, battling with passion to stay in the fight. The 4th and 5th pop rocks were a bit much, but it did show that Perez was unafraid to do anything to make sure she won. By default, this was the worst fight of the night, even though it was nothing remotely bad about it. It's just that all the other matches were just that much better. 3.25 to 3.5 stars. So that's how I feel about it. So MF, Roxanne Perez successfully defends. 5 pop rocks in succession for the win.
Yeah, she tries to make it absolutely clear that I am the reigning and defending champion, and that that Lolo is nowhere in her level, and we saw it right before our very eyes. It's getting a little tough now to try to see who's next on that card, or who's next to get the title shot, because Roxanne is starting to clear out the entire division here. So it's starting to get to a point where I don't know who's going to be the next. I mean, we got Sol Ruca. She could easily do it. Where's Cora Jade? That's who I want to see, because I think she might be the one. But, I mean, I don't know. There's other people that could get the shot, but I'm going to say something very controversial right now. And I know I'm going to get a little heat for this. I'm not sold on Roxanne Perez as a heel. I'm not. I think she overdoes it. I think the mannerisms doesn't come off believable. And I know she's doing a good job with it. But for me personally, I don't see it. I loved the bubbly, sweet, innocent, Prodigy that I got to remember back in Ring of Honor and her early days in WWE. And I kind of feel like maybe if Cora comes back, then we might get Roxanne back as the babyface again. I just don't know if it's gonna genuinely work. Or maybe they do have Cora as the face, but I don't know. Because there's so much that there's so much that we need to wait for to see how this plays out. But at the end, I don't know, man. It's just as good as what Lola did as a face, I prefer her more as a heel. And I think Roxanne is more believable as a baby face more than a heel, at least this is just my personal opinion, my honest opinion. I know I'm probably going to get disagreements by both the guys. I'm just throwing it out there just so it's stated. Nothing more to say. So, yeah, with that said, Michael Bullock, it's yours. 3.25 stars.
So quickly, Fletch. So in your opinion, do you think they should have kept her as a baby face?
Yes.
Okay, I got the answer there. So, but you know what, Fletch? You're not going to get a disagreement from me, because the thing is, I mean, I don't like to start things that are going to like to escalate. I mean, I'll just say it like this. I'll just say it like this, Fletch. And I don't know how you feel about it. She's good, but not great as a heel. That's all I'll say. I mean, she's had some moments, but there are other times it's, like you said, she overdoes it. So I'm more in the middle when it comes to what you talked about. Like I just said, she's good, but not great. Or there's another saying here, she's I. So 3.25, 3.5. I'm with you on that. But with you guys on it. by default, this is the worst fight of the night, even though it wasn't remotely a bad match at all. So, Florio, do you have a quick thought on what Fletch said?
I 100% agree with everything he just said. She's solid, but not overly spectacular. Is that what we're going for?
Something like that. I mean, but I also said, like I said, she's good, but not great.
I agree. Fully agree. So, with all that, let's get into the main event. Fatal 4-way match for the NXT Championship. The champion, Trick Williams, defending the title against Javon Evans, against Shawn Spears, and All Ego Ethan Page. Winner of the match in 17 minutes and 22 seconds, and new NXT champion, All Ego Ethan Page steals the title. MF, Monsoon, you know what you got to do.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. What the hell? All Ego Ethan Page is now the NXT heavyweight champion of the world. I could not believe my eyes. I was stunned with this outcome because Anthony and myself, we all agreed there. We all thought it was Trick Williams. We thought Trick was going to win it. We felt Trick was going to keep the title. We thought Trick was going to stay as the champion. We thought he was going to rise to the occasion. And it was a fluke win. Trick with the trick knee on Sean, on Javon Evans, a trick knee on Ethan Page, who falls on Javon Evans. Shawn Spears pulls Trick out. Referee in mid count. 1, 2, 3. The crowd was stunned in Toronto. The reaction of everybody on the internet was absolutely a shock reaction. Michael Bullock with probably the call of a lifetime by saying that, that All Ego Ethan Page has backdoored his way to the NXT Championship, which is absolutely correct. He did backdoor his way to this title. And it was a stunning turn of events. None of us saw this coming. 3.5 stars. It was a fine main event. It was a fine matchup. Like we said, I don't think none of us would have thought that All Ego Ethan Page was going to win the NXT title. And is this a little bit of a shot at AEW saying, look what we've done? We've put one of your former own wrestlers to the promised land, and now he is our champion? I mean, I don't know, because you know how wrestling has been pretty petty in the last few months, the last few years. Obviously, AEW has definitely been throwing shots at WWE. WWE's been throwing shots at AEW, and now NXT throws one at the bowel of AEW, saying, you basically wasted this man's young career. We just made him our champion. Now what? So, I don't know. But if you also notice something, did you notice the thing at the very, very end of the pay-per-view? There was a little vignette, a little screen thing that kind of showed about a certain TNA superstar.
Say
it, gentlemen.
his name and he appears.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Well, I mean, we know Joe Hendry's got a big championship fight coming up this Saturday.
Next Saturday.
And if he wins it, is it possible Joe Hendry, All Ego Ethan Page, one-on-one, champion versus champion. Now, I'm not calling title for title because that would be absolutely mind-boggling if they put title for title. But champion versus champion. The TNA heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Hendry. The NXT heavyweight champion, All Ego Ethan Page. To throw down, dare I say it, Worlds Collide?
If they do a Worlds Collide.
There has been talk. There's a rumor about it. Or do they do it at the biggest event for TNA? Bound for glory.
That would be something.
3.5 stars is my rating. I'm going to let you fine folks marinate on that. Michael Bullock, it is yours, my friend.
Yeah, a lot to think about with that. But yeah, I was shocked too when All Ego Ethan Page won the title. I mean, yeah, I thought for sure that Trick Williams was going to retain the title, but they did not do that. So, yeah. Part of me feels like maybe this is taking a dig at AEW. Like, you effed up a young man's career. You had a chance to do something with All Ego Ethan Page, and you didn't have the balls or the cojones to do that. So we bring him to our show, and gonna make him our world champion. I don't know about you, but do you really think that maybe Tony Khan maybe saw this and probably is, I don't know how to say it, like
hopping mad, spitting kittens, but then again, they threw it, with Mercedes Moné. They did throw that right in the face of WWE. So, I mean, tit for tat.
Yeah, or as the other saying goes, what goes around comes around. So, that's just my guess. I mean, we don't know for sure, but anywho, 3.5 stars. So Florio, as I give it to you, the question I have, what's next for Trick Williams now? Because we thought for sure he was going to come out the champ, but that's not the case.
Either they have him chase for a while, or dare I say, possibly a main roster call-up. You never know. So, oh my. So, that happened. 4 to 4.25 stars. Matches like this can quickly devolve into choreographed spots, and this one fell into that trap early and often. However, the spots were fun and had the crowd invested. If a match is going to devolve into a complete spot fest, those spots need to be this fun and this consistent. This was absolutely wild and barely gave anyone a chance to breathe. On a night where every other champion retained, Ethan Page stealing the title from Trick Williams was a great cherry on top. It sold that anything can happen and made the show not only great for its action, but also moments. Trick will likely regain the NXT Championship in due time, but sometimes a hero is better on the chase than holding the title. This was a much better moment for All Ego to steal it than at Battleground, with a better match and a better crowd. 4 to 4.25 stars. So, not much more to say on that. So, overall review, Michael Bullock, take a bow, my friend. You put you and your show NXT. You didn't just deliver last night. Your boys and gals over delivered.
Oh yeah, definitely. They delivered and over delivered and then some. So there was not one bad match on this card. I'm going to give this 8.5 out of 10. I mean, there were some things I thought that could have been better, but not really going to complain all that much about it. They really delivered a solid NXT premium live event here. So that's all I can say. Florio, it is yours.
Out of all the NXT premium live events, I can honestly say this one was the best one. This was actually better than Stand and Deliver. And that's saying a lot. For the first time in a very long time, NXT completely outshined the main roster competing on the same weekend. This had the feel of an old school NXT takeover, carried by great action from hard-hitting athletes. On paper, this show looked fine going in. Most of the weekly build was struggling to sell the card. However, talent prevailed in front of the best crowd for an NXT event in a long time. While most of the results were expected, every contest sold both results as an option. It all led to the most shocking result of all, as All Ego Ethan Page stole the NXT Championship away from Trick Williams. This gives the Gold brand a hook for the summer, as NXT's top star will have to scratch and claw his way back to the top against a veteran willing to do anything to win. The women's roster in NXT is loaded. Kalani Jordan and Sol Ruca stole the show with one of the best pure athletic showcases of the year. Roxanne Perez overcame a game Lola Vice and awaits many possible exciting challengers. Oba Femi reigns dominant in NXT and will remain so for a while, but NXT will eventually establish a new hero that can slay the monster. Nathan Frazier and Axiom have some work to do to elevate the tag team division around them, but they showed once again that they can make any opponents look great in the ring. What a show. NXT can ride the momentum of this show for months to come. 9 to 9.5 out of 10 is my rating for this show. Excellent, excellent NXT show. The best one. No question. This was the best NXT show of this 2.0 what have you era. So 9 to 9.5.
I can't remember the last time an NXT event of any kind was worthy of that rating.
One of those old school takeovers. So
it was one of the
feeling of
takeovers. Yeah.
And I'll be quite honest with you guys. This was better than the Money in the Bank event.
I agree.
A lot of people have been saying that, but I know there's also been some very harsh critics of NXT.
Which I don't understand.
Well, I'll explain it in a second, or I'll explain right now. If Anthony, you're good.
9 to 9.5 out of 10, like I said. MF. We may be in the quote unquote 2.0 era. Definitely the best show of this era.
Yeah.
And had the feel of an old school NXT takeover.
Oh, without a doubt. And there's no doubt about it. There's no argument. There's nothing wrong with that. You're absolutely correct. What they did was absolutely amazing. The one complaint that a couple of the fans are talking about is that, when it comes to the NXT championship, or I should say the NXT women's division, the one complaint that they've been saying is that the roster's a little bit depleted. That, when it relates to the women's championship, there's not that many contenders for the title. And they're starting to feel like you lost some big names, like a Kiana James, like a Laura Valkyria. You also lost Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. And a lot of people were feeling that was people who could have been instrumental, big players in that women's division that you don't have anymore. And the one thing that we've been hearing is that who is going to be next for Roxanne Perez? Again, is it Cora Jade? Is she fully healthy? There's a lot of different questions, a lot of different things that's being thrown around, and a lot of uncertainty, to say the very least. That's where I think the problem is lying right now, is that the roster is a little bit depleted because of the fact of all the call-ups and everything else, that maybe NXT needs a hard reset just to get new talent in, just so that, that guys who were the best can work their way, can build themselves up. But right now, that's the only complaint that I have for NXT. this show was absolutely flawless. Like, I can't say nothing bad about the show. The show was flawless. It was amazing. It was hard. Everything was great. Hard working, whatever you want to say. And this was at least 8.5. I agree with Michael Bullock. It was 8.5. But again, the $1 million question is going to be what happens next. And I think that's the biggest thing. The only complaint I have is that the roster size of NXT is very depleted, either with injuries, the call-ups. So it kind of feels like, yes, we had a black and gold type level event, but we're still stuck in the NXT 2.0 era where it still feels developmental. It doesn't feel like what it used to be back in the day when you had pay-per-views, you had wrestling events that was better than the main roster. In 3, 4, 5 years that we could say that NXT did better than WWE, as it relates to pay-per-view wise or premium live events. But there's still a lot of work to be done, and there's still a big road ahead. But I like where they're going, but they need to, I guess, up the ante is what I say. Even though I like what I see, but there's gonna be a problem, and the problem is with NXT is gonna be legitimate contenders for the current champions right now, because Axiom and Nathan Frazier needs a legitimate tag team championship contenders. Who's that going to be? Roxanne Perez. Who's going to be the next challenger for her and her NXT Women's title? Who's going to be a legitimate contender and threat for Ethan Page and his NXT championship? That's going to be the problem, is that there's so much. There's not enough good talent that I don't know if NXT can fill those answers, if they can fill those gaps. And that's the problem. Oba Femi got a major problem. Who can threaten him now for the NXT title? I think it's great that they're doing this working relationships, because I think it's time that TNA might have to infiltrate to give us legitimate contenders. That's what I'm thinking. But we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But that's just, like I said, my personal opinion, my personal thoughts. Definitely not Anthony Floyo's thoughts. Definitely not Michael Bullock's opinion. So I know I'm going rogue here. And I know I'm going to probably draw the ire of the NXT faithful because of that. But there were a few people that was calling this out, and they were definitely making a lot of noise about that last night. Is the roster size and the legitimacy of the contenders for the title. Like, who would be the next ones to go after these titles? Because that is the problem, is that either a lot of them got injured, or we have situations that a lot of these guys are just out of the loop because they went to the main roster. The draft helped in certain areas, but it also hurted NXT. It built up Monday Night Raw and SmackDown as the great shows as they are, but it also undermined the NXT division. And that's where the problem lies. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
And with that, let's move on now to the real reason you're all here. The namesake of this show, Monday Night Raw. On the heels of an explosive Money in the Bank pay-per-view that saw the intensification of the rivalry between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, another tainted but successful world title defense by Damian Priest, and a major upset in the form of Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn over Braun Breaker. Raw hit the USA Network airwaves with its sights set on the biggest party of the summer, the SummerSlam. Ahead of the August 3 extravaganza, who built momentum and which superstars found themselves needing a boost on the road to Cleveland? Find out now with this recap featuring a big mixed tag team main event and a one-on-one showdown between main event Jey Uso and Master Chad Gable. All right, so with that being said, let's start it off. Monday Night Raw live tonight from the Canadian Tire Center in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, the home of the Ottawa Senators. Pat McAfee back at the broadcast booth alongside of Michael Cole after he was gone the last few weeks because of the death in his family. And what a way to start it out. We bring out CM Punk. CM Punk cuts a promo. He said he was fined $25,000 for his actions at Money in the Bank, and that Drew McIntyre was fined $50,000 and suspended. And CM Punk asked for, he even brought up the name of Jack Tunney. That's old school right there, man. Brought back the first great authority figure in WWE history, the late great President Jack Tunney. Or Adam Pearce to lift the suspension of McIntyre. He wanted Adam Pearce to come out, but he was interrupted by Seth freaking Rollins. Whoa. Oh. And these two cooked. That's all they did. They were given the time to cook, and they cooked, boys. Woof. Okay. Strong opening promo segment that recapped Punk's busy Saturday while also reintroducing the intense dislike between the top two babyfaces on Monday nights. CM Punk and Seth Rollins were once slated to square off at WrestleMania 40, and while that match did not happen, and Drew McIntyre is on CM Punk's slate first, their inevitable matchup may very well be the most anticipated of any show. Great way to start the show. Not much more to say. MF, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Papa H and the crew, they gave these boys time to cook tonight, and they cooked big time.
In the immortal words of my best friend and somebody who I hold near and dear to my heart, Kaiser Butler, it was a perfectly cooked holiday ham. It was tender, it was nice, it didn't burn, and it was perfectly, it had that medium size slab of steak. It was just cooked to perfection, the pink in the middle, and it was just juicy, tender, and very, very good. And we ate it up. We all ate it up. The world ate it up, and the internet exploded in kind because it was that damn good. Look, you don't know where it goes, and even when CM Punk tried to apologize, you kind of sensed or felt like it was a backhanded compliment by CM Punk. But the thing was that at the end of the day, this was exactly what it needed it to be. Just a good, solid, brilliant storyline, to say the very least. I enjoyed it. I loved it. And I can't wait for the next level. And the thing is that now the rivalry is off again. And Seth basically said it. You don't know when, you don't know how, you don't know what I'm going to do, but sooner rather than later, you and I are going to be dancing for this. So what does that mean? Who knows? But at the end of the day, this was so damn good of a storyline, and there's really nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, you could even make an argument that this was easily segment of the night.
Yeah, you could definitely make the argument for it. Yeah, CM Punk, I mean, of course, you even saw he did acknowledge the retirement of John Cena during the segment. I mean, a perfect way to show respect, especially to one of his rivals. So, nice job there with that. And then, of course, with Seth freaking Rollins coming out, and he wasn't his normal bubbly mood that he was in when he comes out. Oh, no. He was not in a good mood at all because he knows that CM Punk screwed him out of it. And like he said, when you're healthy, you don't know when, you don't know how, but I'm going to literally re-break your arm again. So, yeah, this is really starting to get personal here when it comes to this. So yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say. Well, and then of course, the real reason obviously is why he was out, because he wants Drew McIntyre, and because he's got business to take care of when it comes to Drew McIntyre. Now, as you guys saw later on in the night, CM Punk and Adam Pearce did have a talk and basically said, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'll talk to Drew McIntyre and we'll have a meeting next week and we'll see where he is mentally. And I don't know. Well, here's a question I have, guys. Where do you think he'll be mentally by next week?
Oh, no, he wants CM Punk's blood. This got too personal now because Punk, I get where Punk was coming from because he was like, and he even alluded that McIntyre has that wristband of his wife's name and his dog's name. And that is unforgivable, which it is. But if you're CM Punk, you also got to remember, you also did this to yourself by screwing Drew McIntyre out of the title you screwed him again for the third time. So
and that's why Drew McIntyre went into that rage mode during the post show,
which he had every right to do.
But what he did not have a right to do was elbow Adam Pearce.
Now,
because remember, Wade Barrett, he had to literally push him away. And you heard what he said. He said, "I get that you're pissed, but if you do that again, your career is done. It's finished."
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, and I need to be real honest and be transparent. I kind of felt like that was accidental. That was blind rage, everything else. I'm not condoning what McIntyre did. I'm not. But I also got to defend the guy on this one. It was a blind rage thing. He blacked out. He was so enraged with what CM Punk. And if you notice the way that happened, I don't even know if he even noticed that Adam Pearce was behind him.
But don't forget that tweet that Drew McIntyre sent earlier.
Well, that I understand. That he deserved the fine, and he deserved the fine and everything else on that. But like I said, I don't know. That kind of felt a little bit of a harsh thing. And if you notice, what also is that's really gonna bother McIntyre as well. He got $50,000. Punk only got $25,000. So
but the thing is, Drew McIntyre should have kept his mouth shut when talking, about Adam Pearce.
I mean, yeah, fair enough.
Because the thing is, and I get you're saying that it's accidental, but here's the thing: accidental or not, you can't lay your hand on an official,
let alone the general manager of the flagship show.
I mean, I get it, and like I said, I'm not going to argue that. But the thing is this: when it comes to something like that,
it was accidental. I agree with you.
I mean, I
agree with you. It's accidental.
But I'm not, like I said, I'm not condoning what he did. But I also got to make that valid point there. So
Yeah, so Drew's state of mind come next week. I think it's going to be the same as it was.
I think
Second.
as long as they give them CM Punk, that they get Punk versus Drew one-on-one, I think Drew's going to be fine. Or
Well, remember what Adam Pearce said to CM Punk, and getting back to this, he said, "You can't be in the building next week." So
if I'm Punk, I would definitely not be there.
Yeah.
If you're smart, Punk, you sit home, you get your rehab done, you do whatever you need to do.
Let Adam Pearce talk to Drew McIntyre.
I don't let him take care of the business at hand.
Yeah, but
because here's the thing. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think there's only one man who's gonna have to get involved in this one, and I hate to say it, but I don't think Adam Pearce should be the one to be talking with Drew.
Triple H.
I think it's time that you bring Papa H out, and I think you have to have Papa H kind of squash this, because I get it. Adam's like, I want to deal with this. I wanted, let me handle this. Let me deal with this. Let me try to do whatever. I'm sorry, bro. You are the last guy that should be handling this situation. I think this got elevated enough
to the point where you need to bring Triple H into this.
That Hunter has to get involved, because, like I said, it went from being one thing. It's one thing for that to happen, but like I said,
this has gotten very personal.
It's got to the point where there's no more play. You got to bring Triple H out.
Yeah, and Drew has to know his role when it comes to Triple H, because
he will.
Triple H, he's not a competitor anymore because of the thing that he has inside him,
in his heart,
the pacemaker. So, and he better not get personal with Triple H as well, because
indeed,
that's the last thing you want to do. So,
yes.
And here's another thing: maybe have Triple H with Adam Pearce, because Adam Pearce is the general manager of Raw.
Yes.
So,
and let's also not forget.
We all know where it's leading to.
Yes. All roads lead to SummerSlam, and it also leads to a 3-match series between these two guys. One match is not going to be enough.
Oh no,
we're going to get it at SummerSlam first.
Yeah,
and I believe,
and in my opinion, and I've said this many times before,
non-sanctioned. I know, non-sanctioned.
Exactly.
I know, non-sanctioned, because it's too intense.
It's too intense. It's too personal for it to be a regular match.
A regular wrestling match.
Can we agree on that, boys?
We can certainly agree on that. 100%. We can.
How about you, Fletch?
MF, what's your opinion?
Because this has gotten very personal to the point that it can't be just a regular one-on-one match.
Make this a non-sanctioned.
Well, I don't think non-sanctioned is going to be yet. I think it's got to start with no holds barred, street fight, something like that.
Something like that. It can't be just a regular one-on-one match.
Then you can go non-sanctioned in the Berlin. But we all know where this ends.
Bad blood.
Bad blood. Hell in a Cell. And that's the blow off, and that's the end.
Thank you.
At that point, yeah. So
I don't know if I ever remember a rivalry that has gotten very personal to the point where all matches are not going to be one-on-ones.
Well, I don't even have time to go into those archives, but nonetheless.
But yeah, it's definitely the segment of the night, hands down. So nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
Yes, and we move on to main event. Jey Uso squaring off against Chad Gable, and main event Jey Uso wins the match in an even 7 minutes, but he didn't do it on his own. The Wyatt Six show up.
They're here.
Sister Abigail, Nikki Cross, and this time she was finally able to deliver the mystery box to Pat McAfee that she's been wanting to give to him for the last 2 weeks previously, with another VHS tape inside of it. So Uso wins in 7 minutes. MF, quick thought on this?
Match could have been better in certain areas. I understand the storyline and why they played it the way that they did, but ultimately the outcome was never in doubt. Main event Jey Uso winning the match was the right thing to do, but more importantly for me, I really enjoyed the way that they did it. They handled it. So yeah, this was incredible. Nothing more to say. This was about a 3-star bout, and Michael Bullock is yours.
2.5 to 3, I'll give it. Yeah, the match definitely could have been better, but all in all, not that much to complain about. I mean, I would have loved to see more from it, but it does continue the whole thing with the Wyatt 6. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
2.5 for me. Uso and Gable were understandably feeling it following the Money in the Bank match Saturday, and that added to a commercial break that ate up much of the match's runtime and never really reached its fullest potential. That it felt secondary to the Wyatt 6 appearance did not help matters. So, not much more to say on that. Let's move on now. Bronson Reed, big Bronson Reed, squaring off against Pete Dunne. Big Bronson Reed wins the match 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Michael Bullock, quick thought. And you noticed after the match was over, Sheamus came out and he wanted to reunite, and he was so excited to see Pete Dunne, but Pete Dunne pushed him away.
Well, and Michael Cole brought up the fact that Pete Dunne feels that it was Sheamus who walked away from the Brawling Brutes. That's what it was. So, but all in all, I mean, I'll give this about another 2.5 to 3 on this one. I mean, like I said, another one that could have gone a little longer, but you know what? It was good for what it was worth. So it's yours, Florio.
Another 2.5. The match was a fun, competitive bout that put over the gutsy resiliency of Pete Dunne and the ability to absorb punishment and inflict it on the opposition of Reed. After the match, Sheamus hit the ring, looking to confront Bronson Reed after their backstage confrontation earlier. After clearing the ring of the big man, the Celtic Warrior attempted to celebrate with Pete Dunne, who wanted nothing to do with his former on-screen mentor. The stuff with the babyfaces is interesting and bears watching in the coming weeks. As for Bronson Reed, it was nice to see him actually win a match after spending months heating up, only to lose. Hopefully, this is a change of pace for the big man, but it is difficult to imagine him getting the best of Sheamus in a rivalry. And oh, by the way, Sheamus and Bronson Reed go one-on-one next Monday night on Raw in Dayton, Ohio. So I expect a Be a Man banger out of that one. So another solid 2.5. MF, quick thought?
A solid 2.5, no doubt about it. Like you said, it also brings that interesting element of what could be down the line. But at the end of the day, I think they did the right thing to have that situation go the way it did. So, yeah, nothing more to say. Anthony, back to you.
All right. And we move on now. A lot of backstage stuff, Judgment Day, Clubhouse stuff. And Damian Priest and Seth Rollins. Damian Priest told Seth Rollins, I'm going to waive the gentleman's agreement. And he said, after I'm done with Gunther, I will happily go to war with you again. Okay. And then, but then again, and then on top of that, Damian Priest's phone rings. He said, where you at? I think we all know who he was talking to at that moment, especially after what happened at the end. Next up, and there was another segment here. Sami Zayn cuts a promo, interrupted by Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker beats the hell out of Sami Zayn, and then Ilya Dragunov shows up, and it sets up another match. And it sets up Braun Breaker versus Ilya Dragunov for later in the show. Woohoo, baby. Okay. Any chance of the former number one contender learning anything from his loss appears to be near zero. Instead, he looks poised to make Sami Zayn wish he had never scored that upset win. It's very clear, guys. They're running this back, and I think we're going to run this thing back at SummerSlam. And should that be the case, that's where Braun Breaker gets his moment. That's where Braun Breaker becomes the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. And
I thought of the reason why they kept it on Sami Zayn, because they were in his home country of Canada.
And they wanted to give Braun a bigger stage to win.
And on top of that, I don't think it's going to just be a one-on-one. I kind of feel like Dragunov is going to get involved. I kind of feel like Ilya Dragunov is going to get there. And just me personally, I believe it's going to be basically a triple threat for the title now.
Absolutely. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. So with that, let's move on. 6-man tag team action. Braun Strowman and the Awesome Truth squaring off against the new World Tag Team Champions, Finn Balor and JD McDonough, along with Carlito. Judgment Day wins the match, 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Theme of the night so far, 2.5, 2 3/4. Match was a fun 6-man tag, the likes of which WWE excels in, that saw the heels outsmart the babyfaces en route to Finn Balor delivering the coup de grace to Miz. Creatively, there was little to nothing about this that had any major impact on ongoing storylines. It was simply a good match that saw the right team go over as the Judgment Day continues to roll, enjoying the best and most fruitful run of its existence. 2.5, 2 3/4. MF, quick thought?
2.5. I thought it was a solid match. I thought they did a really good job with it. Could have been better in certain areas, but I'm not going to be too much about it. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 2.5, 2 3/4. I'm with you on that. So let's move on.
All right, back to the Judgment Day clubhouse. Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. Ho, 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 ho. Here we go. And then, at first, Dom was playing the 2K24, obviously. And then Liv told Dom, you got to loosen up. And what did she do? Well, let's just say that's an interesting position.
PG.
That's
an interesting position.
She was working on the quads and the hamstring, just trying to stretch, give it a little stretch, trying to get a little stretch to loosen them up. But yeah, it kind of was, like Michael Bullock said, it wasn't really PG, and we know what happened.
And then the boys caught him.
I'll say it right now. Some of the stuff Liv Morgan's been doing is not PG.
Mm-mm.
And we all know
who's gonna tell that to her. Certainly not me.
No, nobody.
And let's just say I had a very good time with the telestrator tonight.
that Pat McAfee.
Oh boy.
Just like Pat McAfee did.
Dude, this is why I love working on the telestrator. Anthony knows I do it all the time for the NFL on TXN, and why not? I use the expertise again, and yeah, let's just say I had some very good fun with that.
And I can't wait for 2 months from now when we do it all again. So, all right, when it comes to football, that is. The newest Wyatt VHS tape, Bo Dallas, shown while Uncle Howdy asked him to tell him more about his family. And then you see the faces of Joe Gacy and Eric Rowan flashing on the screen. And Dallas said they must set the captives free, so they need no master. Dallas asked if you think we are sick. Howdy's voice responded, yes, I do. And then there was a backstage moment with Chad Gable going off on Adam Pearce. And then Adam Pearce opens his office door. Bo Dallas is waiting inside of Adam Pearce's office. What could that have been about? We'll have to wait and find out. Braun Breaker squaring off against Ilya Dragunov. Ilya Dragunov wins the match via disqualification, 10 minutes and 40 seconds, because Braun Breaker grabbed an office chair and literally chucked it right at Ilya Dragunov for the DQ. MF, it's only fitting you lead off on this one because this is right up your alley. Physical, smash mouth, most importantly, be a man fight between two studs.
Yeah, great matchup, great fight, great battle. a little stunned and heartbroken that that's the way the match ends. But I get it. I get it. It was a fine matchup. It was a fine battle. Could have been better in certain areas. I'm not gonna disagree with that, but man, uh, it's one of those of what could have been. But at the end of the day, it was still good for what it was worth. And yeah, another 3-star bout. Again, a little bit of a disappointment because we kind of got hung out to dry on it. But like I said, I do believe this is going to lead us to a triple threat. I do believe that we're getting a triple threat down the line, and now this makes me more believe that we're going to get it. So nothing more to say. Bullock, is yours.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm gonna give it the 3 as well on this. So yeah, I mean it could have been better, but yeah, it is what it is. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah. Three to 3.25. Hard hitting, incredibly physical bout that saw the Mad Dragon nearly knock off Breakker and deal him his second consecutive defeat in as many matches. Instead, Breakker halted Dragunov's momentum by throwing an office chair at him, drawing the disqualification. After the bell, he attempted to beat down Dragunov, but Sami Zayn made the save. Still hobbled by the spear from earlier in the night, the IC champion left himself open, and Breakker pounced, pulling him from the ring, throwing him into the ring post, and sending him crashing over the announce table. This accomplished 2 things, guys. It kept the Breakker-Zayn rivalry alive, but it also provided yet another non-finish between Breakker and Dragunov, giving neither man the definitive upper hand. Instead, it left the outcome unsettled so that WWE Creative can revisit this program later down the line. 3 to 3.25 stars. So not much more to say here. 6-woman tag team matchup. It was Lyra Valkyria teaming up with Katana Chance and Kaden Carter against all 3 members of Damage Control, Io Sky, Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai. Damage Control wins the match, 9 minutes and 40 seconds. But after the match was over, we got a new threesome on our hands. Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and the returning Sonya Deville. Stark, Baszler, Deville as a trio. Michael Bullock, what do you make of all this? Damage Control winning the 6-woman tag in 9:40, but then Stark, Baszler, and Deville. Ooh.
Yeah, I'll give this about maybe 2.5 to 3 on this one, but man, I'm interested to see where they go with this new trio of Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and the returning Sonya Deville. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
Solid 3 here. Action-packed 6-woman tag match, broke down late and featured both teams throwing everything they had at the other. And after the match, the trio of Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and Sonya Deville beat down Damage Control and stood tall to close out the segment, sending a message that there is a new dominant trio in the women's division. We had seen hints and teasers of a new union between Stark, Baszler, and Deville in backstage segments and in the background of other vignettes. Tonight marked the first actual appearance of them as a united front. If nothing else, it should make for some fun trios, tag team, and individual matchups in the coming weeks and months. Solid 3 stars. MF, Stark, Baszler, and Deville. Whoa.
3 stars. Agreed. I think everything that you brought up was perfectly fine, and I have nothing bad to say about it. So, Florio, it's yours.
All right. Now, normally, when the excitement levels for mixed tag matches are usually so-so, I can honestly say, and I know these guys are going to agree with me when I say this, tonight may have been the most anticipated mixed tag match, perhaps of all time, because of the storyline progression that was oozing to come out of this. Of course, before we do that, next week on Raw, World Heavyweight Champion Damian Priest and Gunther are going to meet face to face. Sheamus goes one-on-one with Bronson Reed, and Drew McIntyre returns to meet with Adam Pearce. So there isn't anything else left to say. The big mixed tag team match. This was the main event of the evening. Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega versus Dominic Mysterio and the Women's World Champion Liv Morgan. Winners of the match in 12 minutes and 50 seconds. Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, and Dominic, for the first time ever, Dominic pins his father. Dominic scores the win on Rey Mysterio. But this is where the you-know-what hits the fan here. Dominic and Liv got a little too overly friendly with each other. And then you heard those magic words. This is my brutality.
She's back.
Mommy's home.
And you saw the look in her eyes. Oh.
And you saw the look on Liv's face when that music hit. It looked like she saw a ghost.
Yeah, she had to do the as Snagglepuss would say, exit stage left.
Oh yes.
Because you could just see the look on Mommy's face. It was
she was power walking down the ramp. Like she wasn't running, she was power walking with a purpose. Like, oh no.
Like, I'm gonna get my hands on you, you little.
Yep.
Yeah. And you know she's coming for Liv's blood.
Yep.
And by golly, I don't want to be anywhere near Rhea Ripley when that happens. I don't think any of us want to.
Nope.
No.
Agreed.
All right. I lead off on this. So fight of the night here, 3 1/4 to 3.5. The stunning return of Rhea Ripley capped off a fun main event that saw some creative offense from the baby faces and equally enjoyable spots from the heels. It was not a classic match, but the fans bought into everything en route to the heels, narrowly eking out a victory. Rhea Ripley is going to collect her pound of flesh from Liv Morgan eventually. But the equally as significant question is what her return means for her on-screen relationship with Dominic and what she brings to a Judgment Day faction that has not been as united as it had been under her leadership. The only negative? USA Network, you stupid idiot muttonheads. The timing was off, leaving Rhea's return to be rushed more than it should have been. I can't believe it. I didn't think they could. I didn't think they could do this again, but they did. We all remember the last time they made a Morocco Mole dipsy do oopsie botcheroo. The night Liv Morgan planted the lip lock on Dominic in the first place.
Mm.
I never thought, and especially the return of Rhea Ripley. Time constraints. I don't give a damn if you had time constraints. You leave those some bitches rolling. What is wrong with you, USA Network? This is even bigger than what Liv did, than when Liv lip locked Dom.
Well, unfortunately, this time around, they actually didn't get much this time around. So it kind of didn't really affect, because I'll explain in a minute what happened, because I actually got a text I got a text from someone.
Inside information.
I got some inside information, so I'll reveal it in a minute.
Yes. All right. I'll make it quick because I want to hear that inside information.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
I want to hear this inside information that MF got. So I'll wrap it. I'll make it short and sweet. 3 1/4, 3.5. Default fight of the night, but the bigger talking point, the highly anticipated return of Rhea Ripley And there's nothing left to say. MF, business has just picked up when it comes to this angle. And
then
you got some inside information? Lay it on us.
All right. Well, first off, let's talk about the match, and then we'll get into what happened after. So, first off, basically, the match was good. It's about 3.25, 3.5 stars. It was exactly what it needed to be. The match was up and down all over the place. It was solid. It was good. Never really got us the big moments, but it was still a solid fight, and I really enjoyed the main event. After the match was over was where the real fun began for me. Obviously, as the heel commentator of the group, I was gloating over the fact that Dom finally beat his deadbeat dad. That he finally got his revenge on Rey Mysterio for all of the years of all the stuff. Michael Bullock yelling at me, are you kidding me? That was an absolute highway robbery. It was a screw job. It was because of Liv Morgan. And I totally dismissed it, said, man, I don't care. Dom beat Rey, and everything's right with the world right now. Then I saw the hug, and I was like, well, now. And then he got into the where they go head to head. I was like, ooh. Then I heard the music, and I'm like, ooh, oh no.
And then I said it. Mommy's home.
And I'm like, oh my God, Liv, get the hell out of there. And the next thing you know, yeah, it went down. Rhea walks out. She is power walking to the ring. Liv hops over the wall. She's gone, boys. She is not coming back. You saw the fear and the shock in the eyes, and then you saw the moment. Dom kind of was like, oh no, I messed up bad on this one. And you saw her lift the chin up, like, explain yourself. Explain yourself. And he tried to go. Now, here's what happened. After everything happened, he tries to go for the hug. She literally pushes him off and basically bounces out the ring. She walks up the rampway, and and Dom stands there for a moment, leaves the ring, and is basically hightailing it to try to chase down Rhea, basically to try to explain himself for the actions, and that's where it ends, folks. So, like I said, unlike when we missed the kiss and we started freaking out, this time around we didn't get much. He tried to hug Rhea. Rhea wasn't having it. Basically, Dom, mommy's mad at you, and you're basically sleeping on the couch tonight. Or, you know what? The hell with it. You're not in the couch. You're not even in the house. You're probably out with the dogs tonight. You're in the proverbial doghouse. You're sleeping on the grass tonight. Good luck with that, bro. Yeah, that's insane. It was everything that we were hoping for. The minute she came out, the place blew. It was the crowd went nuts. We were freaking out. Florio with like he said, mommy is home. I started freaking out. So and you heard my reaction to it. So yeah, it was classic commentary for us, and all three of us ate it up. Michael Bullock's like, look at Rhea. Oh my God, she is pissed. And yeah, it was epic. So epic commentary moment by all three of us tonight. God, man. Welcome back, Rhea. We missed you. And holy freaking crap, it's about to go down. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours, bro.
Bullock, are you there?
He was a second ago.
Oh,
there we go.
There he is.
I muted him for some reason, but yeah, 3.5 stars. But yeah, the big story: Rhea Ripley is back, and yeah, that power walk shows she really wanted Liv in a bad way, and Liv just hightailed it. And yeah, Dominic's got some explaining to do, and basically, she's got some. The whole Judgment, well, maybe not all the Judgment Day, but basically Dominic, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Carlito have got some explaining to do with this. So I think we know where this is leading, guys. Do you know where it's leading? I think it's leading to SummerSlam.
Provided Rhea's cleared.
Provided Rhea gets cleared.
I believe she is because because the way she looks like she is cleared.
And
because they would not just bring her out for no reason.
And if she is what you say it is, it's leading to SummerSlam. Liv Morgan, Rhea for the women's world title.
But now here's the question.
3-match series.
Not just that. And I agree with that. I think it will be a 3-match series.
SummerSlam, Berlin,
but, where is the loyalty of the rest of the Judgment Day? Where do they lie? Because it looks like Finn and Liv might be working together. Is there a possibility that there's a power play possibly that's about to go down here? Now that Mommy's back, and you know she's going to probably want to assume power as the leader. But is Damian willing to do that? Is he willing to fall back in line to be the second guy? Or is Damian going to be like, no, I'm the world champion. I've been running the things. I've been handling the business. This is not my problem because of the fact of what's been going on. Or does Finn try to make a power move, say, screw you both, I'm the leader now, and tries to toss them both out of Judgment Day? So there's some interesting parts moving on here. And now, where is Dominic's loyalty? Because that was the most, I want to say that was the closest he's done to literally folding to Liv Morgan. Like, you could legitimately say he folded tonight. He tried to resist until the minute that Liv helped him beat Ray. That was the moment that Dominic finally realized she has done more for me than Rhea has ever done for me in my career. You have to admit it. She has. She has done more for the Judgment Day than Rhea Ripley has ever done for the Judgment Day. She was able to get JD McDonough and Finn Balor the WWE Tag Team Championship. She was able to maneuver in Carlito, possibly, who knows? And what she's been doing with Dom. What she specifically has been doing with Dom. And Dom resisted for the longest time. And then tonight he folded right before our very eyes, boys. Where's his loyalty now? This is about to get very crazy in the Judgment Day. I mean, We talk about the Bloodline having the best storyline on SmackDown. This is the best storyline on Monday Night Raw, people. Buckle up. It's about to get real crazy now.
And bumpy.
And bumpy, yes.
Business has picked up.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. I don't even know where we go from here. Overall review, and I guess it's the overall review, and MF starts it off. So, MF, so that happened tonight.
Oh yeah, and then some. It was a good Monday Night Raw. It was a very good, solid show. Dude, I gotta say, this is probably more. Man. I got it. Like, to be real honest with you, I think this is I would probably say about 8 out of 10. I think they did a really good job with it. I loved some of the storylines that they did, and yeah, then we got the big payoff. Rhea's back. I think we're all very happy about that too. Like I said, once it started at that moment, especially towards the end where they go head to head. That head to head, I'm not gonna call it an Eskimo kiss because they weren't touching nose, but if they did, oh my god, that would have been even worse. But yeah, I like I said, me as the heel commentator, man, I was loving it. I was eating it up, and then like we said, the Rhea music hit, and I gasped. Me and Anthony does the Corey and Sean gasp, but instead of me saying what, I say, oh no. And then that's where Anthony, once Rhea came out, that's when Anthony yelled out, "Mommy's back!" And yep, the rest was history. So, 8 out of 10, Michael Bullock, it's yours, bro.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. So yeah, there's really nothing more to add. So it's yours, Florio.
7.5 to 8 out of 10. Triple H and company wasted little time following up Money in the Bank by progressing existing rivalries, introducing new stories, and delivering a huge angle at the close of the show with the return of Rhea Ripley. Building momentum after a premium live event when interest in the product is higher than normal is always of the utmost importance, and the chief content officer has proven adept at that. The show was not the runaway success that some have been, with a few matches or segments that did not hit quite as hard as they should have, but there was far more good than bad here, particularly in the terms of the CM Punk Seth Rollins segment, All Things Judgment Day, the great video package featuring Gunther, and the teased tension between Sheamus and Pete Dunne. This was a thumbs-up show, and it'll be interesting to see what direction some of the top stories take next week. 7.5 to 8 out of 10 for this. So with that, that'll put the bow on this latest installment of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in, as always. The only future content we have right now, for sure, is Wednesday night. Is when we'll be back with you, and we will be next with you on Wednesday night at 10:30 over on MF's channel, BraceFan 95, for Wednesday Night Madness. We got NXT and we got AEW Dynamite, as always, and then on Wednesday night, MF will hit you with the future content after that. So that'll do it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, this is Anthony Florio here for Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, of course, always and forever, the first lady of our show, the Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streaming.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.